Ah, hey! Nintendo's doing a Nintendo Direct today. I wonder what they're gonna show to us. Oh, hell yeah! Skyward Sword HD! It looks great in 1080p, 60 FPS, and they're fixing the controls to make it work for everyone. I wonder what else they're gonna change. What did they change?
Oh man, 2011! The year of the 3DS releasing, the Mario game I always forget exists, and Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword was set to be the big Zelda game, celebrating the 25th anniversary, and now 35th anniversary, of the Zelda series. With one-to-one sword controls, a fully orchestrated soundtrack, and a well-written story, it should be an incredible game. And what did people think?
People don't like it.
But why? What makes it so bad to so many people? Why do people hate this game so much?
I don't get it either. I mean, there's triangles in the logo. That means it must be good.
Well, let's look at a little into the conception of the game, then look at what it has to see, just what people hate. The game first entered development right after Twilight Princess, where the team looked at it and was like,
yeah, let's not do this again.
They felt that Twilight Princess was just too big with dungeons and areas to the point where puzzles were barely anywhere, and they wanted to make this game feel different. They also made Wii Motion Plus a requirement due to the better motion controls assisting with one-to-one sword control. The active sprinting was added because the team realized the A button existed. Dowsing was created, as Wikipedia puts it, based on the gameplay themes of discovery and exploration.
Yeah, we'll see how that holds up, Wikipedia.
Overall, nothing much too interesting to say, game development just being game development. But now, it is time to play the video game. This is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. What? So this game got a collector's bundle you could purchase for extra shit with your game. Look at this packaging. I have no clue what I'm going to get here. So we got the game.
Ugh, thank fucking God for that.
This Wii remote, which is gold. I like this, it's gold. It makes me feel special for having it. You also get a CD containing the game's soundtrack, I believe. I don't know, the Wii won't play it. Overall, pretty cool. I can't remember how much it retailed for. 4-year-old me was too stupid for forgetting. One last thing before we start, just letting you know that I am setting things up a little differently right now. Because today is the day Skyward Sword HD releases, at least I hope, I will still go over the story in depth, but skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid that and just want to know if the game is worth it. Okay, cool. The game starts with text.
Woo! Reading!
It details how this demon guy just said fuck you and killed people to get some triangles. Then the goddess was all like, no, fuck you! And he got sealed away while the humans live on a rock on the sky. You then create a file and get shown this weird thing just kinda vibing.
Oh boy, this guy looks like he'd be a fun fight. Hopefully we get to fight him 3 times in this game.
You then see a girl feed her pet bird with paper. I'm sure that doesn't taste nice, but whatever. You then see Link's dream where he finds that spooky monster from before, but then gets woken up by a bird. You then get the slobber-covered letter saying, hey you, get over here you lazy pile of shit. From Zelda. Shit, gotta go! You leave the place and get told how moving works by this guy. You then need to do a chore for him. How fun. You then meet Zelda and she tells me that she is going to play the role of the goddess.
Oh boy. Foreshadowing.
You then compliment how she looks in her clothes or be a dick. This is one little thing I like about cutscenes. For some reason, I like being an asshole just to see what happens, and I hope that doesn't say anything about my personality. I mean, I got told that I am a lazy idiot and I will lose in the ceremony, so I think that makes up for it. Zelda then pushes me off a cliff.
Well, that was a short game. I'd say the gameplay was fine, but it needed more to it. The story was alright up until the very end, and oh goddammit, I have 20 more hours in this game.
Zelda then apologizes for pushing me.
Oh, you better be sorry, I nearly fucking died because of you.
New objective, find bird. Go to the front of the island and this guy named Groose talks with his friends about how they kidnapped a bird.
Gee, I wonder who kidnapped my bird.
Then he just makes fun about Link, I compliment his hair, Zelda comes in and bullies him. I then went to the sparring hall and this guy named Fledge detailed what Groose did. Then I went inside and learned the sword controls and got a weapon. This here is a big turnoff for people, the motion controls. Luckily in the remaster you can use the right joystick, but let's focus on the motion. I'll talk more about this later at the end, but for now, let's just say that I feel like it makes combat more interesting. You also find this thing, which gives away literally any puzzle solutions. Luckily, it is entirely optional, and I feel like it is a neat inclusion to help people who get stuck. I then go through a cave, find my bird, set it free. You now learn how to control a loft wing. It's pretty simple, just tilt the Wii remote to turn, flick up to go higher, point down to go down, press A for a speed boost. Now it is a wing ceremony and it's simple. Chase the bird with the statue and you win if you get it. Bruce and his friends will throw shit at you.
Wouldn't that be cheating?
Zelda then jumps off a cliff when you win and would have been fucked if Link didn't come to catch her. You then get the sailcloth, which will break any fall. Let's test that! Fuck. You then fly around with Zelda and get fucked over by a tornado which sends Zelda flying somewhere. You then wake up. Was it a bad dream? Nope! You didn't see this character just fly around. So of course you stalk them, a perfectly normal thing to do. You get led to this place where you get told that you are the destined hero and get a new sword. You also learn of a new attack, the Skyward Strike, and do it on this thing to insert a special stone to make a green beacon appear. By doing so, you get the classic green clothes, an adventure pouch which somehow stores shields, and the ability to go to the sky and finally land on the surface. While this beginning section is roughly the same length of that in Twilight Princess, the difference here is that more goes on story-wise in this part. More events take place, more interactions with characters important to the story. It makes it a much better opening segment for the game in my opinion. Alright, we are in the sealed grounds. The ground isn't sealed away, it's right there, what the fuck. You go to a building and oh fuck, an avocado! Gee, this thing looks dangerous, let's attack first! You now unlock a new ability, dowsing. Using this, you can track where your shit is. Neat. I never needed to use it though, the game is pretty linear. You can enter the building and find an old lady who apparently doesn't have a name until the end of the game. She does have a nice bracelet though. She tells you that Zelda is busy doing shit and tells you need to get your lazy ass over to Faron Woods. But she gives you a bottle, so it's okay. You learn that you can put beacons places to mark where you go on the map. I removed the beacon so I got a nice shot of the sky. I killed some guys and Goron thanks you for doing so. He talks about statues.
Who the fuck cares?
That allows you to go to the sky and save your game.
I care!
You can then go over to the next area and truly enter the Faron Woods. I beat up some of these guys and Fi tells me that these Kikwis here give off the dowsing readings of Zelda.
It's Zelda!
It scared the shit out of him and he reveals that another human was nearby. That one, of course, being Zelda. I run into this guy who is the elder of the Kikwi, and he mentions that he can tell me the info I need to find Zelda. But, of course, he can't remember it, and you need to find the others so he can remember. Now you just play hide and seek. Alright, found you. I found you. And I found you. The elder tells me where to go and gives me the first item, the slingshot. You can use this to hit faraway things and also stun enemies. A neat little item. I went into the deep woods, saw this person's legs, and continued to the temple. You then get interrupted by the Goron from earlier and he says that he found a cube. I broke the cube, oops. I hit the crystal here and entered the Skyview Temple. The Skyview Temple is the first dungeon in the game, and this one is actually a pretty good one. This dungeon doesn't really have a theme or main gimmick attached to it. It is just a fun, simple first dungeon. The mini-boss is a Stalfos. They block in certain directions, just attack in the other directions, simple. The item is the beetle. Using this, you could go into high or far away places. Think of it like the slingshot, but if it was more for grabbing stuff than combat. The boss keys in this game have a fun little gimmick going on with them. You have to twist the Wii remote to get the key to fit in the door. I like this, it's fun. The main boss is this guy, who states that he is Girham. His goal is to capture Zelda and sacrifice her to awaken his master.
You can't do that, that's illegal.
This fight is actually a bit challenging for a first boss. You can't just swing or else he'll take your sword. You have to hold in one direction then attack in the opposite. He then brings out his own sword and using that he could block in a direction and attack you. Not too challenging when you get used to it, but it's still tricky. Once you win, he leaves Heart Container and you could go to the spring outside.
It's July though.
You could Skyward Strike this thing here and if I tells you, hey man, go to Eldin. Here's a stone. I went to the sky and put my stone in place. Then went over to the red pillar and entered the Eldin region. Eldin is a hot volcano, and it's basically just a long pass. Along the way, there are these guys, the Magmas. They look for treasure and warn of the monsters. You also learn about how you can pick up bombs and use them when you want, and when they are available. You can enter this cave area and commit an act of mass murder and get the digging mitts. Using these, you could dig in some spots to find shit. I then went to this bridge here and someone called out to me, "Hurry up, Zelda's over here." I climbed up the mountain and overheard that you need to collect key shards to enter the temple. I found them. The Earth Temple, a lava dungeon. This place is fun simply because of its new gimmick. The gimmick is that you have to roll on a ball across lava to get to areas, and it is fun to do. The mini-boss of these two is Alphos. They're simple, you can kill them in like 10 seconds if you're good. You get a bomb bag for doing so, but that belongs to this guy outside. Luckily, he is kind enough to just give it to you. The main boss of the dungeon is neat though. You go through this Indiana Jones-like part after getting the boss key, Girham brings it to life, and you gotta fight against Caldera. This one is much easier than the Girham fight, but it isn't as interesting either. You throw bombs at it, make it eat a bomb, and attack the eye. Do it until it die. You can then leave, and Zelda is here.
Oh, hell yeah!
She has to leave, and I get told that I was too slow.
Oh, hell no!
I then get told by Fi to go to Lanayru and get the stone to do so. I put the stone in place, flew to the yellow pillar, and entered the Lanayru Desert. The Lanayru Desert is my favorite area in this game. Why, you may ask? Time travel. This area is big, and there are these time crystals all over the place. Hitting them sets the time to the past, back to when this place was not a desert. Along the way, you find this little robot in trouble. Help him and he repays you by upgrading your beetle to the Hook Beetle. Using this, you can actually grab stuff like bombs and bring them to faraway places. I love this item, it's just so fun to use. By continuing through the desert, you come across an area known as the Temple of Time.
That doesn't look like the Temple of Time, that looks like a lie!
Of course, it is blocked off, so we need another way in. By activating these machines in the area, you can bring up the Lanayru mining facility and enter the third dungeon. The Lanayru mining facility is probably my favorite dungeon in this game. Why? Well, it takes the concept of the past and the present and expands upon it. The concept of being in a factory with all of this machinery and the conveyor belts is just so cool as well. It's fun to move around and solve the puzzles here. The item of the dungeon, however, isn't really the best. The Gust Bellows is fine, I don't hate it, but with it being just for blowing away sand or spinning propellers, I honestly just don't give a shit. The main boss is pretty fun though, being Moldarak. You have to attack the claws to destroy them, dig up the boss, and stab it in the eye. While it is simple, it's a pretty fun fight. You can then leave and find Zelda here doing her thing, but of course Girham decides to show up and be an inconvenience. Zelda gives you the harp though, so who cares, I can play music. She also goes to the past, so I have to catch up with her at another point. I went back to the sealed grounds and oh, fuck yeah! Groose just decides to jump, but I accidentally saved him. He asks a lot of questions, so of course I answer them.
Bruce, you're asking what that thing over there is. To answer that, we need to establish where it came from. You see, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, I don't think he liked that.
He then runs away from me. Unfortunately for him, you can't run or hide from Link, so I caught up to him pretty fast and found him talking to the old lady here. He believes he will save Zelda, so he runs away. You then learn a song for the harp, the Ballad of the Goddess. This is my least favorite part of this game, playing the harp. It just does not function, and I have no clue why. You have to move the Wii Remote in rhythm with the ring here, but it just doesn't register the movement half the time. Look at this. I'm doing the exact same movement with the controller at the same rhythm for all of this. And then you have that one time that it works just fine and then you wonder what was wrong before. I hope this gets fixed in a remaster because this is just garbage. Playing the song made this big thing pop out and it's apparently the way to Zelda, but we can't open it yet. Then an earthquake happened. I rushed outside and oh fuck, it's Among Us! Ah! The Imprisoned is a fight in the overworld. You have two options for attacking it. You could chop the toes and then attack the thing on its head, or you could jump on its head from above and attack from there. You also have a time limit. If it reaches a temple, you lose. This is a neat fight, especially when attacking from the head. I hope to see it again in this game, maybe even 3 times. You then get told that you need to find some flames. To do so, you need to go over to Skyloft and figure out the lyrics to the song. I went to Skyloft and asked the headmaster for them. He provided. He didn't sing them though, even though I asked.
Damn it!
This one was broken, so I had to go to this guy to have him fix a robot, and I used that to get the piece and fix the windmill. I then went to the top of this tower, did a pain-in-the-ass minigame, and then I can enter the Thunderhead. I went in and solved the puzzle, which is a bit of an annoying one, then went inside and learned a new song, Farore's Courage. I was also told to find some flames, was the first being in Faron. With this, I went to Faron and found this place where I could play the harp and enter the Faron Silent Realm. This is a part of the game many hated as well, but I gotta say, I just love it. It is essentially the Twilight sections from Twilight Princess, but you had things chasing after you, and one hit means you have to start over. I like how it is all about your movement and stealth, and it's just so fun to do. Doing this gives you the Water Dragon Scale, which allows you to swim.
Link didn't know how to swim before this? That's embarrassing.
I swam inside of the tree from below and at the top found this guy. He told me the flame I seek is where the water dragon is. So I entered the area where the water dragon would be by becoming an artist. I then chased this guy down and scared the shit out of him before he realizes that maybe I could help the water dragon. So we go to the water dragon. She needs some special water to help her heal. And where is this special water? Why, at the end of the Skyview Temple, of course. This place is actually a little remixed as you have to get a new key and there is a fight against Stalfos at the end. Get the water and go back to give it her. The dragon helped me by opening the path to the next dungeon, the Ancient Cistern. Remember how I said the Lanayru mining facility was probably my favorite dungeon? Well, this one is a competitor against it. The Ancient Cistern has a lot of fun puzzles, and it is probably the best water dungeon so far. You got the statue in the middle where you can make it go up or down and travel to different floors with it. That's so cool! You also got this basement filled with zombies. Hey, just like mine. The mini-boss is an upgraded Stalfos. He has 3 swords now, but then he got a 4th because he wants to make your life tricky.
The nerve of this guy!
Beating him gives you the whip. Alright then. This item is an okay one. You can pull down things you can't reach and use it like a vine. Thing is, it just isn't the best item in the world. One of the functionalities is just using vines in places the devs didn't put them. The main boss of the dungeon though, oh boy, this fight. This is Koloktos, and I tear off his limbs so he has no arms.
Like me.
And then I attacked his heart. He then grows some legs and chases me with swords. This is what makes the fight so cool. You can use your own weapons against him. I chop off his legs and arms and attack his heart and kill him. You then find what is known as a sacred flame. It attempts to attack you, but luckily you block with your sword and your sword gets stronger. Now it does more damage. Yeah! You also get the Triforce of Courage on your hand. Neat. I went to the sky and went to the Isle of Songs to learn a new song, Neru's Wisdom. Using this in the Lanayru region allows you to do the Lanayru Silent Realm. Same concept as in Faron, just now in the desert. I still enjoy doing it. Doing this gives you the... Oh my god, yes! My favorite item in the series returns with the double claw shots. It is exactly the same as those in Twilight Princess. You can use it to grab onto targets or vines. Using these, you can access a new area, the Lanayru Sand Sea. By activating this crystal and speaking to this robot, he tells you that his ship was stolen and he wants it back. So you go in a ship to get it. This place here is great in concept, but it just could have been so much better. Why are there no places to explore that aren't story related? It would have been cool to explore the sea like in Wind Waker. We got 3 areas to explore. First is Skipper's Retreat. Go to the top and find a sea chart. Next you go to the shipyard. You ride some minecarts by tilting the Wii Remote to lean and prevent yourself from falling. At the end you... Oh. Moldarak is back! There is no difference between the fights. Lame. The final part is the Pirate Stronghold. This place is kinda like a mini dungeon. You have to go through areas and try and take this stone ball thing back to the start, using your brain to figure out how. It's actually quite a lot of fun. You then learn how you can track the chip in the sea and use it as a cannon on the ship to reveal it. And then you enter the dungeon. The Sandship is another great dungeon. You're on a pirate ship. How could that not be fun? You have to try and start the engines to be able to go through the basement and free the trapped robots in the ship, and it is just a lot of fun. The mini-boss is also the best one in the game, Skirvo. He's a robot pirate.
Aw, fuck yeah!
You need to knock him back to make him fall off the edge and make him walk the plank. Not only that, but you get the bow as the item of the dungeon. I don't need to explain what the bow does. If you don't know what it is, then you should probably walk the plank. You can also set the boat to the past and present, which is cool. The main boss is a little underwhelming though, being Tentalus. Why is this underwhelming? Well, just look at it. The design of the boss makes it look like it came from Monsters Inc. and not a threatening fight. The fight is fun though, you shoot tentacles and the eye and slash the eye. It also had the perfect setup, with you having to escape to the deck before the fight, and what better boss for a ship dungeon than a Kraken? But again, with a design like that, it's a little hard to take it seriously. After the fight, you find another Sacred Flame, get the Triforce of Wisdom on your hand, and gain the ability to douse for more stuff. Great! Has anyone ever managed to get all 8,000 slots filled? I don't know if it's possible. Guess what you do now? That's right, a music lesson! I learned Did's power, went to Eldin, did a Silent Realm, nothing out of the ordinary. Doing this gives you the Fire Shield earrings, protecting you from extreme heat. Lava and fire still hurt though. Using this, you can actually enter the volcano and explore the volcano summit. You can make it to the end where you find the Goron guy from before. He tells you that you need some water because the frogs are thirsty. There, done. But this frog is too high up. Well, I went to the water dragon who told me that I can use the water basin. I called my little robot to bring it over there. The robot is an idiot though, so we land at the bottom of the volcano. Now you need to bring the robot up without enemies hurting it. And there's at least 2 million of them now. This part I am not a fan of. It is annoying trying to get the robot to the top while killing every single enemy around. It is just tedious, especially when you fail and you have to try all over again. Once you do get water in the frog's mouth, you can enter the Fire Sanctuary. The Fire Sanctuary is a lot like the Earth Temple as it plays around a lot with the lava and looks similar. Imagine if the Earth Temple just continued going for more at the end. That's this dungeon. In this dungeon, there are some magmas that need help from you. By helping them, they help you. One of them even gives you the dungeon item, the magma mitts. Using these, you could burrow underground and get stuff and hit switches there. This item is another thing I don't care about, sadly. I just don't care about going underground in this game. I would if there were some cave-like areas like grottos and other games, but no, it's just linear paths and mazes. Anyway, the main boss is... you again! Girham is back, and he is basically the same for the first phase. Phase 1 is basically the same as Phase 2 of the last fight. Now in Phase 2, he has some new attacks. It's still a simple fight, and you should do it easily, but it's still fun. Final Flame, Triforce of Power, and hey, wait a minute, I recognize that sword!
It's a diamond sword!
I went back to the sealed grounds and opened the gate at the- oh god damn it. The Imprisoned is back, fuckers! Now he has hands. You can start climbing up walls.
Oh shit!
Luckily, Groose made something to specifically stop him. He launches bombs and they go boom. You also can't jump on him unless you bomb him, which is annoying. Other than that, it is the same. And then open up the Gate of Time. It's here where Groose starts his character development, really. And it is one of the best parts of this game. It shows that he's truly changing from being an asshole to actually being a nice guy. He stays behind and you find Zelda on the other side. She reveals that she is the goddess reincarnated as a human.
Foreshadowing. It's shown this from the very start!
I then got the true Master Sword. Aw, hell yeah! She mentions that in order to stop the evil demise, she must be in a slumber for a while.
Everyone needs a nap every now and then. I get it.
I went to Skyloft and this guy told me that I need to find Levias to get the Triforce. Of course, Levias is angry, so I need to learn a new move on the bird to calm him down. Easy, did it first try. I then got some soup from the soup store and then this guy showed up. I burst open the eyes on his body and landed on top of him. Then this guy shows up and tries to kill me.
Maybe I should have bought clothes instead of soup.
Attacking in different ways launches these balls at him at different angles. I killed him. Levias thanks you and then tells you to piss off that you get parts of a song. I landed Faron and god fucking damn it. Imprisoned 3, oh boy. Starts off normal, then oh fuck, he can fly! Blast him with a bomb attack. Then the path to the bombs is blocked. You have to race to the top and Groose launches you out of the Groosinator onto the Imprisoned's head and you attack there. Which is just so cool to do. You then learn the Faron is flooded, so Groose launches you there himself. You go in the tree and the water dragon comes out and says that you need to do a little thing to be shown worthy to learn a part of the Song of the Hero. Some tadpoles are spread around the water and you have to find them. I did it. I learned part of the song and the place was drained of water. Everyone will die in 4 days. In Eldin, a volcano erupts and Link loses his items.
Well, I'm fucked.
This segment is a ton of fun to do. Getting your items back and using them to get to the next one, all while not getting spotted. I love it. I get my items back and the fire dragon gives me the next part of the song. Over in Lanayru, I go through a cave into a completely new area. I find a minecart and have to escort it all the way around to where the dragon is. I did it and found that he was dying. I stole the robot's last hope, went to the past, planted it in the sealed grounds. It grew and I took the fruit to the dragon. He gives me the song and tells me of a little thing he has for me. I'll cover this later. With that, Levias taught me the last part of the song. And once you do that, there is a silent realm in Skyloft. Oh boy. This was the only one I failed on this playthrough and I am sad that I did. I failed twice. Doing this gives you a rock. Thanks. And I just broke Skyloft. Oops. Skykeep is the final dungeon and this one is much different than the others. There isn't a dungeon item, a boss, or anything. You just need to get the Triforce pieces. To do this, you have to slide the rooms around to get to them, which is just so cool. I love it. Each room has challenges themed around the other dungeons, which is just really great. You even refight Skirvo from the Sandship. That's cool. Upon getting all the Triforce pieces, you wish for the destruction of Demise and break Skyloft even more and will be taken into custody for your crimes. But it is all over. Zelda awakens, everyone is happy, Girham takes Zelda to the past. Wait, what? Girham starts a ritual to sacrifice Zelda to revive Demise and sends like about 1 billion enemies after Link. It's like Hyrule Warriors! Sometimes you get stopped and have to defeat a few enemies before you can progress. At the end, Girham gets angry and attacks you. The final fight against him is special. You have to knock him off the platform while blocking his attacks. When you do, he gets angrier and attacks with his own sword. You have to stab him a bunch and then he gets even angrier. Break his sword and stab twice. He then tells you that you are too slow. Oh come on man, I beat you in like 1.5 minutes. Zelda fucking dies and Demise is brought back and then Girham fucking dies. Bruce catches Zelda, Demise is impressed that I didn't run and hide, so he creates an arena specifically for us to fight. Demise is the final boss, and this is one of my favorite final fights in the series. No gimmicks, just a one-on-one sword battle. He blocks and attacks just like you, and you need to deal as much damage as you can. After a bit of fighting, he comes back up and brings lightning into the picture. This is basically his Skyward Strike, and you can use it yourself on him. After dealing an ending blow, he is dead. In his dying breath, he puts a curse that the descendants of Link and Zelda are cursed to fight evil.
So I guess that explains everything happening. Every single bad guy in the series is just a reincarnation of this guy, except maybe Majora.
We all go back up to the sealed grounds, and it is finally over. Fi requests that we strike the Master Sword into the pedestal, which will end the partnership of Link being Fi's master. Link does it, Fi thanks him, and they all go back to the present. We leave to our time and Zelda tries to get Impa to go through. Impa can't though, so Zelda leaves her with a bracelet. We go to the present and the old lady has that bracelet. Oh shit! She then dies. The credits then roll. I like how the credits have scenes showing what Zelda was doing. That's nice. At the end, Link and Zelda decide to stay on the surface and you get the option to play on Hero Mode. On Hero Mode, you take double damage and there are no recovery hearts. It is hard and I never even played it. So outside of the main story, what is there to do? Side quests, and there are quite a few of them. On Skyloft, you can find this demon named Batro. He asks for gratitude crystals so he can become human. By doing other quests to help people, you can get those and he gives you rewards as you bring more of them. In the sky, there's a guy who needs something from the surface. Bring it to him and he lets you play a minigame. He launches you in the air and you need to go through rings and land on the right spot of the platform. You can then speak to a girl at the item check a bunch to make her fall in love with you. You can then reject her and get crystals from her father, or get crystals from her and not reject her. Speaking of her father, he has a minigame where you can cut down a bamboo and get as many slashes as you can before it hits the ground. You can get prizes such as treasure or rupees for doing so. Speaking of treasure, you can upgrade your items with him. It is just so great and useful to do. The final one I will talk about is the boss rush. After helping the Thunder Dragon, you could do a boss rush. You get the choice between doing the Silent Realms again or boss fights again. You choose the first fight to redo and get timed on it. Fun for setting personal fastest times. You pick the rest of the bosses you do and surviving for long enough without pouch items, except for the shield gets you rewards. The big one is the Hylian Shield, which is an unbreakable shield and you get it for doing 8 battles in a row. There are so many more, but I'm just too tired to list them off here. Hi, if you're here, then chances are you either skipped right here when I gave the warning, or watched the whole thing. Anyway, let's go over each of the elements this game has and give my thoughts on why they are good or bad. Let's start with the most controversial one, the combat. Many people don't like the combat in this game because of this little thing called motion controls. Motion controls are a big thing in this game, however, I would say it's actually beneficial to the game. Usually when attacking an enemy, you just mash the B button to attack as fast as you can. But in this game, you can't quite do that. Because an enemy can block in multiple different angles and ways, you need to actively think how you're going to slash your sword. When you need to do a parry with a shield, it makes combat much more involved, more tricky, and more fun in my opinion over pressing a button for the game to auto-attack. People complain that the motion controls don't work sometimes, and I have never had this happen to me. I've had the game stab after slashing or spin attacking left, that's annoying, but it has always responded. Overall, I would say that the motion controls improve the combat, considering it is built around it. If you're curious as to how the combat feels, think about those sword fighting minigames in Wii Sports Resort. That's basically the combat in this game. Another flaw of many, the hand-holding. Yes, it is bad. This game tells you stuff way too much. Nintendo, we aren't 3, we're 4. We don't need a character saying where to go, with the camera showing where, and then 5 saying where to go. We aren't that stupid. Luckily, it seems like the remaster will be fixing that for most of the part because of 5 being silenced a lot, so hopefully that should make it much better. One final flaw I will discuss is linearity and repetition. This game is not as open to exploration as other games, but that isn't a bad thing. You still have areas to explore and find things and have a great story. I can live with that, and a story-focused entry is fine, especially considering the next 3D Zelda in the series. The thing is, there's quite a bit of repetition. 3 surface areas, 3 areas in the sky, 3 imprisoned fights, 3 Girham fights, 3 visits to each surface area.
Nintendo's really trying to stick it to Valve, aren't they?
While each visit to the area provides new gameplay elements and parts of that area, and the fights that are repeated are fun to do, they really couldn't have cut them down. Why not do a snowy area, an underground cave area? They could have done so many more areas, but no. It's kind of whatever though, the areas we have are cool anyway. Now let's talk about the game's good elements. The story is great. Considering how much there is in the cutscenes and this being a story-focused Zelda game, it is great the story is arguably the best in the series. The characters and how they interact with one another is great as well. Zelda's role in this game is the best in the series. The friendship and I guess romance a little between Link and Zelda is also really well executed. Groose is a very goofy character and has great character development over the course of the whole game. Girham is a great villain, Fi is great story-wise but sadly not gameplay-wise. This game has some really great dungeons. They aren't too difficult, they are some of the easiest in the series, but they are fun. I mean, look at them. Sky Keep, Earth's Temple, Ancient Cistern, Lanayru Mining Facility. These dungeons are fun. The soundtrack, oh my god, the soundtrack. I love fully orchestrated soundtracks, which is why I love the soundtracks of games like this and the Galaxy games. Fully orchestrated music just makes the music more impactful, more grand, more incredible. It is beautiful. The items are great too. The bow, double claw shots, the beetle. Great stuff. Some of the items are a miss and just don't work, but the other items are good enough to outshine them.
Overall, is Skyward Sword HD worth it? Yes and no. If you haven't played Skyward Sword before, what the fuck are you doing here? Go get it. If you have a way to play the game on Wii, $60 is a bit steep, so I'd recommend either finding it on sale somewhere, which good luck doing because it's a Nintendo product, or just play the game on Wii. Where would I rank this overall? I'd put it around Wind Waker. I don't know which one I would prefer, so it's either second or third. This game doesn't have much exploration, but has a big focus on story. But what if we had this? But the opposite. Not like Nintendo would make a game like that. Oh. Yeah, I have 300 hours of spare time that I can do now.